Every year, thousands of families from Latin America risk everything to reach the United States, fleeing violence, poverty, corruption, and hopelessness in search of safety and a better life. They believe in the American dream, that somewhere beyond the border lies opportunity, protection, and peace. But for far too many, that dream turns into a nightmare. Such as the heartbreaking case of Susana Morales, a 16-year-old Latina girl from Georgia, whose life was stolen far too soon. Not by the danger she fled from, but by the very people entrusted with protecting her. A family's worst fear ignored. On July 26, 2022, Susana Morales was reported missing after she failed to return home from a friend's house. Her family immediately knew something was wrong. Susana wasn't the kind of girl to just disappear. She had texted her mother around 9:40 p.m., saying she was walking home. Then silence. From the very beginning, the Gwinnett County Police Department dismissed their concerns. Officers suggested Susana was likely a runaway, a common and devastating label that effectively stalled any real effort to find her. Her family pleaded with them, insisted she wasn't that kind of teenager. But their voices, like so many other voices in Black and Latina communities, were ignored. For months, there were no meaningful updates, no community alerts, no urgent press briefings, just a haunting silence. Then came the unimaginable, a horrifying discovery. On February 6th, 2023, human remains were found in a wooded area of an Atlanta suburb. DNA confirmed what the Morales family feared most. It was Susana. The shock of her death was compounded by a chilling revelation. The primary suspect in her murder was Bryant, a 22-year-old active-duty police officer from nearby Doraville County. Bryant had no prior criminal charges at the time, but a closer look revealed a disturbing history of harassment, stalking, and inappropriate behavior toward women and girls. He was supposed to uphold the law. Instead, he became its most grotesque violator. Shortly after the discovery, Bryant was fired. He now faces charges of felony murder, kidnapping, first-degree burglary, false reporting, and concealing the death of another. He remains behind bars in Gwinnett County Adult Detention Center without bond. It was a police officer. That explains everything. It was a shock. I had to process it, said Jasmine Morales, Susana's sister. It was just like, what? That explains why it took so long for us to have an answer. It's a police officer. I'm guessing they know how to cover their tracks. Her words are chilling, because what happens when the person you're supposed to call in an emergency is the emergency? What happens when the institution meant to serve and protect you becomes complicit in your suffering? A pattern too familiar. Susana's case is not isolated, not even close. According to Mapping Police Violence, at least 1,176 people were killed by law enforcement in 2022, the highest recorded in a decade. And sexual violence by officers is a well-documented but underreported crisis. A Bowling Green State University study found that between 2005 and 2013, police officers were charged with rape over 400 times, and experts believe the real number is much higher. An NBC investigation in 2022 uncovered that many officers accused of sexual misconduct weren't disciplined. Some weren't even removed from duty. Others were promoted. This is the same system Susana's family had to rely on for help. The same system that failed them. A wider epidemic, missing and forgotten. Since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, the number of missing young Black and Latina girls has surged across the U.S. But you wouldn't know it from mainstream media coverage. These stories rarely make national headlines. They don't spark manhunts or FBI task forces. Often, they vanish, just like the girls themselves. In Washington, D.C., dozens of unsolved cases involving missing Black and brown girls under the age of 21 remain cold. In Georgia, Susana Morales was the third Latina teen found dead in just 1 month. There's also a troubling issue with data. Many missing Latinas are statistically categorized as white, a practice that erases the scope of the crisis. Without proper classification or national media attention, these communities are left to grieve alone. Hispanics aren't being heard or taken seriously, one anonymous mother said at a local vigil. No one cares about the Latino community. Justice for Susana. After months of silence and inaction, Susana's family launched the Justice for Susana petition. They are demanding a full, transparent investigation by the Doraville Police Department. That Miles Bryant be tried and convicted to the fullest extent of the law. Acknowledgement that Title 35 of the Georgia Code was violated when police claimed they had to wait 48 hours to report Susana missing, a dangerous and outdated myth. A full review and reform of how missing minors cases are handled in Georgia, with an emphasis on transparency and urgency. Their demands are not just for Susana, but for every family who has faced the same pain and the same indifference. Stop Cop City, a boiling point in Atlanta. Susana's death coincided with the rise of the controversial Atlanta Police Foundation's $90 million police training facility, nicknamed Cop City by critics. Protesters, including indigenous, Black, and Latina activists, have called it a symbol of police militarization and displacement. They fear it will deepen the divide between law enforcement and marginalized communities already suffering. One protester, Manuel Torchiga Paz Duran, a non-binary environmental activist, was shot and killed by police during a demonstration to protect the South River Forest, a forest that will be razed to build a training center. The same chants continue to echo through the city. Stop Cop City. Justice for Susana. Viva Tortuguita. A system built to neglect. From the deadly force used against unarmed civilians to the institutional disregard for missing Black and brown girls. The Morales case is part of a broader, systemic problem in America. The color of your skin, the zip code you live in, or the language your parents speak still dictate whether your life and death matters. According to the 2022 Police Violence Report, Black and Latina individuals were not only more likely to be unarmed when killed by police, but were also less likely to be perceived as a threat. Latina individuals, specifically, are killed at nearly twice the rate of non-Latina white Americans by law enforcement. The Morales family came to the U.S. for safety. Instead, they lost a daughter, a sister, a bright, young soul who never made it home. No amount of money, no amount of justice can bring her back, Jasmine Morales said. But what we can do is try and make sure this doesn't happen to anybody else again. And that's why we're here.